It's not going to be a popular statement. I do not blame the Grammys. I don't blame the recording academy, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I don't blame them.
Do you know ARMY?
Do you know ARMY?
Do you know ARMY?
You better know ARMY.
I mean, at this point, you should gonna know ARMY.
Oh, yeah.
So we have gathered here today.
We forget to introduce ourselves most times.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you for saying that. Sarah. I'm Sarah.
Sarah She.
With an H. With an H.
Bwana.
Zoe with no Y.
Mimi.
Or Mako.
Or Mako.
I hate when people just call you Mimi. Any Hoosiers. One of the disclaimers I want to just put out there really quick is a reminder that we are all ARMY. Clearly, obviously, we are all ARMY. Until the end. Through. Yeah. And we tell it like it is. And when you love someone, i.e. BTS, you
And
tell
ARMY.
them the truth because you want them to reach their potential and grow as far as they can and work on their flaws or anything like that. And that is what we're about to do.
Yeah, we're gonna keep it real today. It's a lot of emotions going on right now with ARMY, and I'm not quite sure how our boys are feeling because not only are we not privy to that, but they haven't really said anything to us about how they're feeling. I'm sure they were disappointed about losing the Grammy, and I'm sure it was an honor to have been nominated, but there's a lot more to this story. Like there's a lot more to this situation between ARMY and these American American TV shows, these American music shows.
Yeah,
American
award
Music
shows. Yeah.
This isn't necessarily an attempt to call out the Grammys. This is an attempt to call out the Grammys. It's more of an attempt to connect and unite with ARMY and speak to BTS and Big Hit so we can get our guys back to their roots and get them the respect that they've earned and deserve.
Absolutely.
So to ARMY, I implore you to connect with us, do a Q&A with us, ask us questions, tell us your thoughts, your ideas, give us your opinions. If you agree with what happened, if you disagree, obviously maintain respect and you will receive respect. And all you player haters,
You should love yourself.
but connect with
That's
us
so
because
cheesy.
we are only a piece. We're only for ARMY when ARMY is worldwide. So
Yeah,
let's hear
absolutely.
from you and let's unite in a way that we can support and help guide our guys back to their roots, in which we know Big Hit hired them for in the first place.
Yeah, this has been a wild journey, hasn't it?
Yeah. I mean,
It's been a while since the beginning up until now.
Yep. Tie it up, Mimi. Tie it up.
It's been a wild journey.
Can you expound upon what you mean by back to their roots? What do you mean by that? For you yourself, what do you mean by that as far as the guys mean, as far as back to their roots?
So part of the concerns that we'll be mentioning in future videos and podcasts relate to who the guys are performing for specifically, whether it's for the US stage, for worldwide non-ARMY, or for ARMY, and which direction Papa Big Hit, PD Neem himself are headed towards, and if they still have that core foundation in which he created Big Hit on, if they still follow true to that foundation, you know, feeding our boys talents and passions and whatnot, or are they headed in a different direction and leaving the Big Hit US channel to fend for themselves with no direction from the core Big Hit at all? So getting back to their roots on what PD Neem wanted to start Big Hit for in the first place, our guys' passion and desire to share their souls and connect with other souls around the world, that kind of get back to their roots.
And just FYI, we do know that Big Hit has changed their name. And that's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, clearly though, because we all know they still gonna be called Big Hit. That is what they are.
They, out of respect, they will, and understanding, they will be referred to as Big Hit by a lot of individuals, by a lot of entities for a long time, for quite some time, until that HYBE, however it's pronounced, catches on. And I don't think it will ever catch on in this arena, so don't expect for it to.
Not for ARMY, at least.
Yeah, that was a shock too big to handle without being prepped first. Like, I feel like
Without being prepped
prepped first, I feel like that should have been something that was thrown out there. Hey guys, we're thinking about changing our name. What do you think? What do you think we should change our name to? This is why we're changing our name. And instead, we just got something that said Big Hit is no longer Big Hit. Big Hit is this.
Regarding the Grammys, everyone tuned in and tuned out to see the Grammys. And then everyone has seen their performance at the end. So I've never, ever said this before in my all of Army Days life, period. But every single performance was better than our guys. Solely on the purpose of, there was nothing new. It was very lackluster. And they literally, and everyone knows this, including the Grammys themselves, put our guys at the end and egged us on simply for viewers.
Which honestly was expected.
That
was nothing new. It was not a shock to us, and it was not a shock to our guys. That is what the stark reality for me in all of this is none of this is a shock to our guys. If we know and we heard and we understand every last bit of this, they absolutely do.
I hope they do.
They understand every bit of this.
That's why they're trying to appease us.
So we can say as much as we want how Army gets used and how our guys get used,
but how our guys allow us to be used.
They know absolutely every bit of it. It is talked about. It is talked about ad nauseum. They know it and they see it. And if we heard from it, I know they do. That's all I'm going to say about that right now, because I know I interrupted Zoe.
But with that, BTS, RM, all of you guys, Hobie, everybody, you and Big Hit have given Army something that no other fan base, dare I say no other fan base, has. And that is the power and ability to connect and speak our minds freely and support and push you guys forward. But at this point, you're cutting us off at our knees. You are posting and tweeting and vliving and trying to appease us and calm us down. What you need to be doing is telling us how you feel and what you think. Because if this is okay with you, if this is the direction that you want to go in, you need to let us know. And if it is not, you need to still let us know so that we can at least be aware that we are in this fight with you. To get you the respect you have earned.
Yeah, that's what we need to know. We need to know exactly how you are feeling.
You've always been honest with us in the past.
It is very frustrating to sit through 3.5 hours, was it? 2.5 hours?
Oh gosh, dang near 3 hours.
Of people we don't particularly care to see, of listening to things we don't particularly listen to get to you, and then it's very lackluster.
It's literally 2 minutes, I think.
It was literally, it's very frustrating and daunting, and we don't like it. I'm just gonna say it. We don't like it. We don't like being used. We never like being used. But when they put you in this situation,
you're like a token.
You're like I would really like for you. Okay, so we're talking about the Grammys, right? I get it. I think all Army gets it. Like, this is a major honor for you. So here's the deal. Like I said before, it's not just the Grammys. It's several award shows that does this.
On the US stage.
That uses you in a way that belittles us and our intelligence, and belittles you and your intelligence.
Now, when we say belittles us, mind you, we are worldwide Army. But this fault lies in the realm of the American stage, because when you perform at a Korean award show, it's a dang near concert.
I mean,
BTS.
y'all show up and show out.
You show up and show out. Now, I don't know if it's the access and the privilege that the Korean locations award you, or if your team in Korea is fighting for that and they don't know how to fight for that here. But that's why we exist.
They do. So here's the thing. You have a lot of power worldwide. Everybody worldwide talks about the power of Army, the immense power of Army. Quiet as kept. You have more power than we do. You absolutely do. Because your name carries a great amount of weight.
And you know this.
So, had the Grammys said, knock knock, we want you to perform, or knock knock, we allow you to perform on the Grammy, we're going to give you a Grammy stage. Had BTS said, who is it? You want us to perform? We need X amount of time.
Period.
We want this stage.
Period.
Because
You
they know.
carry that weight. Because they
And
know.
we're not going to be last. Period.
Because they know if BTS were to turn them down, if
No
they
one.
walk away, they walk away with ARMY. You have a power. And
Please start
what
using
was
it. Please start using it.
They experienced the greatest drop in viewers of all time
so
because of ARMY.
what I do understand is you started off answering to a small fandom. You started off answering to K-ARMY and J-ARMY and I-ARMY. You answered to a family of worldwide ARMY. You answered to your agency, and you answer to a heavier weight, and this weight may be much heavier now. You are the pride of your country. You are the pride of your country that has actually made some adjustments and held you up on their shoulders, and so that is a heavy weight, and I get all of that. How you are handling that and how you are balancing that, I have no idea.
It's difficult.
So I understand the voices that are coming at you, but our voices are many. Our voices are the ones that started with you. BTS made HYBE exactly what it is. ARMY made HYBE exactly what it is. There would be none without us. This is a safe place for us to say it, and we're gonna say it. So what we got the other night, we waited for a long time.
Just as long as you.
You all waited for it a long time, and it was such a lackluster. It was so.
So, you know, they did put a lot of energy into it, meaning to
They still smiled at us.
No. They put a lot of energy in replicating the Grammys. So they wanted
did.
to replicate it exactly as it was in LA. And so they made the stage look exactly like it was in LA, and then they recreated everything, right? But I don't know why you needed to do that. I don't know why you needed to recreate the Grammys in Korea. All we want to see is the bomb performance that you are. It's such an odd situation to be in when you weren't the
cream of the crop.
The cream of the crop, when you weren't the star, when you weren't the main attraction. Like,
so the Grammys are, I'm gonna just speak frank, the Grammys are feeding you garbage and you are eating it. You should not allow yourself to eat it, because as what she just said, you have the power to say no. Otherwise, they will have zero viewership. You are allowing yourself to be treated this way,
and then in turn, we're
that
being...
makes me feel like you are not yet at the point of selling out, but you are headed in that direction. You are not sellouts. You have never been sellouts. You have always been true to your work and to ARMY and to yourselves. But if you keep heading in this direction, it will tear us apart. It will break you from the inside out, and you will become sellout. Stop eating what they are feeding you.
I've always said this, and anybody who knows me as an ARMY knows I've said this a long time ago. You are bulletproof because we make you bulletproof. We are bulletproof because you make us bulletproof.
Yeah.
And there is nobody that can tear that down but ourselves from the inside out. I cannot imagine what you are feeling and the strains you are put under, because we are the loudest voices, but you have other voices you have to listen to. And I understand that. So your hands may be completely tied as far as this is concerned, but the point Mimi made was, we don't know.
Because you're not communicating.
You have to tell us.
And you may not be able to communicate with us, and we have, but because we are so lost with that. Now let me say this, I said a lot, we've said a lot, besides Sarah, and I know she has stuff to say, about the performance itself. It's extremely hard for us to sit and talk about any performance from you in that respect. It is extremely hard to do that. And for me, it's very hard to do that because I listened to you guys that night. And Jin said that Namjoon said while you guys were actually preparing for the performance and filming the performance, that this was historic for you. and that your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren would look back and watch it, and it was historic, and it meant so much to you. That one performance meant so much to you. And then when it was aired, it came across to us in the way in which you hear us talking about it. So it's hard for me to talk about it that way when I know how much it meant to you.
Yeah.
And you are correct, Namjoon. It is absolutely historic. It is going to go down in history as the first Grammy performance for the stage that you had. It is not the first Grammy performance that you've had because you had one, but it is the first Grammy performance that you've had for yourselves, and it will go down in history that way.
Like, what is it though about the American stage where they downplay everything? Because we watch you at the Mamas, and we watch you at the Korean music, at the KMAs, and we watch you everywhere. What is it about the American stage that makes them downplay everything?
Every system.
And what she means by them is
the boys.
Every system has its flaws, from world government to a single individual, right? Mm-hmm. And we know that from the rooter to the tutor, the music industry has deep-seated prejudice and flaws that flows throughout history and is still present today, i.e. everything that we heard about the Grammys and that has been spoken and brought to light upon before the actual Grammys. Aside from those systematic issues that the Grammys and the Billboards and all other American award shows have, because of the foundation of America, part of the difference is BTS has ARMY to speak out for them. And that's why there's like a spotlight on the mistreatment of BTS.
And notice,
is it mistreatment?
There's not much we said about
is it mistreatment?
Actually not receiving the award. There's not much we've even said about that. Because I'm going to tell you, in all honesty, I did not expect to receive the award.
I mean,
I did not expect it because of the history of the Grammys. The reason in which the nomination happened, the reason in which the
opinions of an exclusive small group of individuals voting on who gets what.
I feel like almost like we pressured them into, it's like, yeah, y'all can pressure us into nominating, but we sure as hell ain't gonna give them a Grammy.
Let me clarify why I did not expect. The Grammys historically have looked over countless talented individuals. You 7 men are the most talented individuals on the face of the earth right now. Our rap line are the 3 most talented rappers on the face of the earth right now. And that is not taking away from the rap performances that happened the other night. I'm not taking away from those.
No, not
they
at all.
had their own talents.
Style.
They did their own styles and their own talents. However, I do know my 3 rap artists. There are people that can rap, and there are individuals that are rappers. You individuals have your own 3 styles, and you can run circles around everybody else except one another. Our vocal line, there's so much that has already been said about you guys that I can't not even go into that. And when you fuse the 7 of you together, you guys are the most 7 talented individuals on the face of the earth right now. You are. The Grammys have a history of overlooking lots and lots of very talented artists throughout the years. Therefore, that's what I mean by it. I expected them to fully overlook the most talented 7 individuals on the face of the earth.
So to simply put it, the Grammys and it being something that you worked so hard for and wanted for so long is the last straw.
It's the last straw.
We suffered through your mistreatment through other American music awards, and the Grammys, for what it's supposed to be, that was the last straw. So you are literally cutting our legs off. You need to tell us how you feel so we can support you in the right way, with tact. And if you cannot tell us how you truly feel, then send out an ARMY signal or whatever you need to do to give us some hint as to what we can do. Tell us what we can do to help you, like vote on this or look into this or research that or speak out on this. Tell us what we need to do to help Big Hit, speaking directly to you, in getting you better treatment and representing you the way that we know you need to be represented. Because Big Hit didn't choose, PD Meme did not choose you for Dynamite. They didn't. They chose you for your individual talent and skill and genius in your own right. They chose you for specific reasons that you have failed to represent and show in the American stage. And you need to tell us how to make sure that
it doesn't
the world
continue to
sees
happen. Because bottom line, we can't continue to call people out and then you come along and say, I'm going to do a show there.
Exactly.
Like it that's what she means when she says it cuts us off at the knees. Like we can't be like treat them better without any power behind it. Like you're the power behind it. So if we can't,
or it's like us telling them to treat you better, but you coming right behind and saying, oh no, it's okay.
You don't have to treat us better.
Don't do that to us.
Please.
Tell us how to support you, how you really feel, and what you think.
So this is just my opinion. I actually blame a big part of this on the company. And part of this is because we've been watching Big Hit or High Corporation for a while, and they've already shown this trend for like over a year now, almost 2 years now. We have talked about this amongst ourselves for a long time. I've been following articles, I've been watching their business conferences. We were worried 2 years ago already about the trajectory that they were going.
Yeah, we were.
And we had brought up a lot of these important questions before. We brought up, how is this going to affect how BTS is managed? Are they going to get the proper amount of attention that they deserve with the company growing at this rate, but not taking the time to stop growing for a second and make sure that what is already built is still strengthened? And this is something that I personally have noticed about the company for a long time now. No company can grow that fast without not having taken the proper time to go back and make sure things were properly built. Like, we've already been seeing ways that they've been slipping way before this has even happened. Think about me and Bwana talked about when Island first came out, how the production value was just,
and the treatment of the artist.
yes, the treatment of the artist and the production value was just very off base from what we have come to learn to expect from Big Hit.
Yeah.
And already, like, my theory for that is that they just outsource most of it because they don't have enough manpower, and they just have continued to do that. And this is just something in business. You cannot grow that fast without there being some problems, because you are supposed to grow at a steady rate for a reason. As much as I hate the big three in the industry, there is a reason that despite them being absolute jerks, they're still around.
They're still standing.
There's a reason why they have that longevity and that stability. And we even talked about this at Big Hit. How are they supposed to build that stability if all they're concerned about is just growing fast?
That's
the
the theme that I'm getting. It's just we're growing. We're adding this, we're adding, and we're making this and making, and it's just like, oh.
The way I think about it is like you just keep stacking on these pancakes without even stopping to make sure that everything's properly aligned, that it's not going to topple over at some point. And I personally think that it's come to the point where it really is affecting BTS, and it shows. And I say that because, one, I know from, our past 7 years with these boys that they have not been quiet about important matters. And the fact that they suddenly are quiet, for me,
It's an issue.
like, I assume that it's something has happened that is out of their control.
Or like they're being muzzled.
Yes, having my faith in them, I assume that there is something, because that live that they did after the Grammys, I feel like there is a lot in their body language. The fact that it was super short is very uncharacteristic.
Immensely.
The fact that they just cut it off really fast. If you look in a little bit at each of the members, they're just heavy. They're heavy. They are trying to show up for ARMY, but it's kind of that thing where it's like, if you're upset and you show up because people are expecting you, but you're upset, so you're trying to kind of show up and get out as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Some of them weren't even speaking,
So they must feel along the lines of what we feel.
But we don't
But
know
they may
what
very
they
well
do.
be muzzled. They may very well be being told to just stifle it. Stop, don't say
Also-
anything. For what reason though?
Yeah, for
Big
what
Hit's
reason?
partnership with freaking Universal Music Group, okay?
Paramount.
Like, yes, like the fact that they have just announced that partnership, I personally feel like that is at least partially intertwined with all of the American music stuff. Two, we have just said that honestly, American music stuff is really twisted in a lot of ways, and I am sure that part of that is reaching BTS in some way. And I personally feel, to some level, there is something that's happening that's out of the boys' control. Because I personally also don't think that the boys necessarily care to do all of these American music stages either. Because back home in Korea, I feel like they'll definitely have fun performing no matter what they're doing. But at least back home in Korea, they have power over, like, exactly what y'all said, what they're doing, what they're performing, how it goes, everything. They get to actually run their own show, and that is how it's supposed to be, and that's why we see the level of quality that we do. But I know for a fact that as artists, they cannot be happy about the fact that they are limited to this box in America. And I am sure that they have tried to do things, but I just don't know. I don't know behind the scenes.
That's the problem. We
all
don't
the
know.
stuff.
And I will disagree with you just a little bit because I genuinely believe they like doing the American award shows. The anomaly here, or the common factor in all of this, is we don't know. We don't know where Big Hit's head is at. We don't know where our boys' head is at.
And we used to.
We're literally driving blind. We don't know what steps to further take to stop this. Because I'm going to tell you, if something doesn't change, I will not be watching any more of your American stages.
American award ceremony?
I won't.
I'm not looking forward to any of them at this point right now. I'm not looking forward to anything that might be coming up, or unless it's with Papa Mochi. I'm not looking forward, or with our army bodyguard. I'm not looking forward to any of it all, because this is what I'm expecting. After so many times, this is what I'm expecting. At this point, it's degrading.
Exactly. I actually think that, at least in some of these places, there has to be some, I don't know what the word is, some ignorant producer somewhere, whoever makes the shots, that quite literally does not want BTS to upstage whoever else is coming up on the show.
Yeah, and I definitely believe there is some form of
because
that.
in general, honestly, as someone who's watched both Korean and American music shows for several years, way before BTS, the way that Korean stages are done is just way different. You never see the level of show
Production.
that the boys threw at the Mamas, for example.
And if you don't know what we're
Anywhere.
talking about, please go and check those out.
Yes, you never see that level of show in any American music show award, no matter how big the artist is.
This is the Grammys. They have been talking about the Grammys for years. Sugar been saying, just give us a stage, just give us a stage. What do you want when you want to do? You got it. You got that stage.
The V Live afterwards, you touched on that. It was short, and some of them didn't say much at all. But what stood out also for me, what hurt also for me, was I remember Yoongi said, and I can't hoops. I think V said something about working harder. You guys always say something about working harder, but after 2020, everything that you gave us, after everything that you've done, after everything that you've achieved, after everything that we've achieved, to hear you say, after being used and robbed and degraded, us being
Used,
done this
robbed, and
way,
degraded.
to hear you actually say, we will work harder. After that tore me up. You can't work any harder.
Yeah.
You have set the standard even for yourselves beyond recognition. You set the bar here, so you set the bar so high, it's not even recognized. We don't even see it anymore.
So now it falls upon us
So-
and your freaking company to do the steps that we need to do to get the respect that you deserve. Because you've done what you needed to do. You really have.
You guys can't possibly think, let me work harder, and for next year, we will achieve this.
Just maybe.
It's not you, it's politics.
You're not going to achieve the Grammy next year by working harder than you already have. I don't understand how is it you cannot fathom you're not going to achieve I want to call names. I want to call individuals who have gone before you, who have worked hard, men, They've worked hard. These women and men have worked hard
Extremely
for
hard.
years and were snubbed time after time after time by the Grammys.
There's a reason famous artists are protesting.
And guys, you work hard. We work hard. Jen said at the V Live, I'm glad we're making history together because I wake up every day and not only BTS is in the news, ARMY is in the news. I'm glad that we are together. You guys have always seen us as one, but to hear Jen say that the other night, that was the one thing that made me smile that night, that we're making history together. Guys, we can't work any harder than what we're working.
So if that's the case, and this is my personal opinion, I don't know how many ARMY out there feel the same way, but if that is the case, I simply don't want a Grammy. They do not deserve us. They do not deserve BTS.
And let me touch on that. The prestige of the Grammys. It is not what it once was. It does not hold the glimmer in the gold that it once did. I watched an individual, and I have no idea if we can call names, but I watched an individual who has deserved it 1,000,000 times over break records the other night. She received more than one. And I watched the excitement on her that was like a small firecracker. When I watched her excitement on her be like dynamite.
And then in that moment that is a very accurate description.
So because she knows the glitter, the gloss of that gold of the Grammy is no more. It simply isn't.
And if they're gonna continue treating you this way, I simply don't want it.
Yeah, not to say that they can't reestablish it, but guys, it's like
they're not going to reestablish it on your back.
It's like cutting the neck to save the chicken. It's like
they're not going to reestablish the glitter to their gold on your back or our backs.
Who cares about the Grammys anymore?
So understand that. Understand that. That is our firm belief.
They care about it, and
they do, and they do because you have for years, because it's what you've seen for years, and it's what we've seen for years.
And it's the one thing you have yet to attain as well.
Yes. And in the world's eye, the Grammys has held a great prestige throughout the years. We've grown up on it, you've grown up on it, and it's something to achieve. However, guys, they're not going to get that gold back, that shine back on your backs or ours. Don't let that happen.
So if I am faced with something that I've been reaching for a very long time, because it just looks all bright and shiny, and it's my passion, it's my heart and my soul. When I finally get to that point and I see that it is built around and controlled by individuals who will just degrade me and disrespect me,
and who are xenophobic and so forth and so on,
I will have, because of the standards that I hold for myself and the people who have supported me, I would have to force myself to step away, because it is clearly not worthy of the amazingness that is me.
But that's us talking, and I don't know if you put us in the category of being selfish. How selfish can you be to ask me to walk away from the one thing I want the very most? Well, if it's going to cost you your soul and it's going to cost your entire fandom theirs.
You started this with us. Come on, man.
Like I don't know what other step. Like Bwana said, you're not going to work any harder than you've been working. We can't work any harder than we've been working to get you where you are. That's going to guarantee you a Grammy. That's the one thing that's never guaranteed. Nobody can say this one for sure. They guarantee the Grammy. I just don't like it.
So the bottom line, I think, is we need to know. Whatever it is, we need to know. Whatever it is we don't know, we need to make a change, whether that be in the guys, in ourselves, or most likely Big Hit. Those two things need to happen. Tell us how we can make them happen. I think that's the bottom line, because we are blind. We're flying blind with no legs.
So one thing that our president is big on is moving forward. Moving forward. So moving forward from this pain that we're in. And our family is in pain. We have a year ahead of us. Hopefully coming to the other side of things, coming to the other side of this pandemic, coming closer towards a concert, seeing one another in person. Moving forward past this pain and to better things, to achieve. Nobody can put it like Namjoon. A loss, and I'm paraphrasing, but you guys saw the V Live the other night. It leaves room for greater accomplishments, greater achievements. We have, it's no more beautiful things and to have greater achievements in front of you, more achievements lying in front of the path before you. I am messing that quote up.
Yeah,
Go watch the V Live and know what he said. It was very inspiring. But we're going to move forward from this.
One of the things that I want to make known to BTS and other ARMY is you can always come back home. You can always come back home. You will always find a foundation, love, and support within ARMY and within BTS.
Oh, yes.
I mean, as we've seen. So guys, you can always come back to us. We are upset together. We're hurt together. But hopefully after this pandemic is over with and gone, and everybody is happy and healthy and everything, we will get our concerts and we will be back home.
Yeah, you guys need to recenter
Magic
and
shot.
refocus. Y'all really do need to recenter and refocus. And not the moment, I'm telling you, mark my words, and it's on videotape. The moment y'all stop giving a damn, that's when you're gonna get a Grammy.
I'm going to say this. It's not going to be a popular statement. I do not blame the Grammys. I don't blame the Recording Academy, whatever.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't blame them.
Puts blame on Big Hit.
I don't blame them because you do not blame an entity, an individual, for doing exactly what you expected them to do.
Yeah.
For doing exactly
They're
what they
consistent.
historically do.
I'll give them that.
So I don't blame
Very
them.
consistent.
We may be the four armies on earth, but I simply don't blame them for doing exactly what they have been historically doing.
Blame a wolf for being a wolf.
You sure can.
Yeah. So when it goes and eats the lamb, do they eat lambs
We're
or
gonna be
chickens?
looking at
Whatever.
you like you're crazy.
You know, you should put your chickens away, lock them up. But the fact of where the company, the agency is going, the direction in which it is going, that is an entire another chat altogether.
We will have.
So,
But we did a semi-chat about that on our podcast, so you need to go check it out.
Yes.
Yeah. So with that being said, all you player haters, scammies and whatnot, y'all should love yourself.
Absolutely.
And ARMY, please connect with us. Tell us what you think. If you agree, disagree, be respectful about it, and we'll have a conversation and we'll see what's up.
We love you. We
And
love
guys,
Last
thank
one.
you.
Go ship da.
Is I better get that one concert on DVD soon or I'm coming for you.
Yes.
Oh my God.
We paid for it. We want it.
paid for it. We own it.
How is it that, okay, so this is our opportunity. At the end of our chats, we are going to start something. We are going to give a shout out in the form of a gripe, and we're going to give a shout out in the form of a like.
Well, the first whole part
So,
was kind of a shout out to this.
well, yeah. But our first shout out, she started. Let's give our shout out in the form of a gripe. So our first shout out in the form of a gripe
Call
is,
out round.
a call out round, ding, 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 is every concert that our guys have had, we're able to actually have
How?
a purchase. How is it this is the only one?
What up though?
How is it this is the only
This is the
one
only one.
Fantastic. It is the only one we want.
that I can't own?
Fantastic.
Give it to me, I'm worth it.
So unless you're saving it for our muster, if you're saving it like as a special thing
And
that
we
we
still
can
gonna own it then?
purchase, heck yeah. Like,
Excuse me, I have purchased this. Release it. Give it to me. I purchased this. Give it back.
So yeah, that's our call out round in
Yeah.
negative way.
So I call out
one of the best concerts I've ever seen by them.
I'll
And this
call
wasn't
that
even
saying
in
a lot.
person.
our call out round for on a positive
On the positive.
is that thank you. Can I do the call out round?
Do it,
on
sure.
positive? I would like to thank our president and our sunshine for our tweets at the Grammys.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
know
like
how
that
to
you're
be
trying to appease us, but I don't mind you trying to appease us.
We'll take it. Thank
take
you
what
for
we
those
can
tweets. We'll take
It
those.
soothed our soul. Just there.
All right, and so in closing, now you know.
Now you know, Army.
Did you even say it?
Yes, I tried to.
Okay, closing.
Bye, and we love you.
Look
for
at how
sure.
Lag just propped up on me and she licking herself.
Girl, you interrupted our whole show.
Don't what you trying to hide for.
You
Now she
interrupted
running.
our whole show.
Now she